Assume you are the least knowledgeable within any given group. When you are around other creative folks, listen. Let them do the talking. And be generally, authentically curious in them. Why should you do this? Well, you're going to learn more when you listen instead of talk. Go to a sewing meeting and be curious about what they are doing, the techniques that they're using, the materials, why they're putting it together that way. What are they making it for? Assume they're doing some amazing things and you can learn from them. You can't learn if you're doing all the talking. Meanwhile, if you listen to them, you'll learn what type of person they are. Maybe they have this really calm demeanor about them, and that's something that you're working on, and you can learn from them. Maybe you'll find out where they are in life, like if they're career-oriented, if they have a family, maybe you're both mothers to small babies, or you both became, newly grandmothers. You'll learn who they are outside of sewing. And if they have anything interesting worth following up with, maybe you can do sewing projects together and expand to other areas of life. Like I said, maybe you both are mama friends together. And your babies can play and entertain each other while you guys sew and jib-jab and all of that. But also, if you do all the talking all the time, then either you hype yourself up and maybe you don't have the skills to actually do all the hyping. So now you show that you're kind of arrogant, you're ignorant to where your skills actually are, which is kind of embarrassing to it's uncomfortable, right? To hype yourself up beyond your actual ability level. Or, on the flip side, you are actually amazingly talented and you do have the skills, and now it looks like you are bragging, which causes them to dislike you. Either way, it's a lose-lose for the interaction, so it's just better to keep a low profile. The hardest respect to keep is your own. If you say you're going to do something, then do it. If a project needs fixing, fix it. If you say you're going to complete a project, let's say it's a dress for Christmas, well then it has a deadline. Christmas, right? Then do it. Sure, life can get in the way here and there, but short of something really serious coming up, like getting seriously ill, having some tragedy, something like that, do it. Don't make excuses. I don't need to outline what a legit reason is versus an excuse. You already know, and that's why it feels so shitty when you aren't fulfilling your potential due to excuses. You cannot lie to yourself, so the hardest respect to earn is one's own. Want to connect with others through sewing? Use simple words and keep it humble. So this means saying yes more than correcting. Generally speaking, correcting someone creates a barrier, right? You're the expert now and you're correcting them on their small knowledge of sewing, and it just makes them feel less than adequate. And for what? If it's a casual social context, just go with it. As Maya Angelou says, I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. If someone asks if smocking is like hand embroidery, thank you.
Beautiful. Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, that's called smocking. There's like all these little tiny pleats.
Yes.
And then the smocking is like the stitches that keep them. There's a machine that puts the pleats in. You like roll it through a machine and it pleats it up for you. And then the smocking actually like is the stuff that connects the pleats together and keeps them.
Oh my God. That one embroidery like type.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Very beautiful.
Thank you.
Notice I began with yes. This works for folks who don't sew as well as for sewing friends who may enjoy different styles of sewing than you. If you keep the terms simple and people feeling good about themselves, they're more likely to open up. And this can lead to collaborations, friendships, just all the above, all the wholesomeness. No one has endless time to sew, but some folks lack something that you have. Ever wonder how some folks seem to get so much done, but despite being in your sewing room, no projects ever get completed? Most of us are sewing in fairly modest spaces. And sure, your sewing space and the tools you have, they do make a difference. But once you're at some basic level of items, it's a matter of starting to lack things. Lacking distraction. Distraction is taking you away from what you're trying to track. Distraction? Traction. Traction is the action that moves us towards the things that we really want. So maybe you sit down to work on a jacket and you think to yourself, I wonder what's going on with the Instagrams, the Pinterest, my favorite fabric store. I wonder if they have a sale going on right now. I'll just get some motivation, right? No, stop. Does checking Instagram to get inspired help with sewing the jacket that you want to sew? Outline what you want to do. You want to sew this jacket. Then it makes for all the subsequent actions to take for sewing that jacket. It just makes it easy, right? Yes or no questions. Watering the plants? No. Calling that friend to jib jab? No. YouTubing how to insert a welt pocket for said jacket? Yeah, possibly. Don't lie to yourself about doing this or that to get motivated. See point number 2. And that brings me to my last point. While I love to sew, I don't feel inspired. I need to find some motivation. How do you get motivated? How many hours of endless scrolling? How many unneeded purchases? How many exhausting conversations? Meanwhile, all of that time and energy could have been spent doing the actual thing, doing the sewing, getting into that, that creativity, that flow. I find it all starts with discipline. Now, we're talking about sewing. I mean, it's fairly easy since you should be coming to sewing from like a good, wholesome place. No one should be feeling pressured to sew. Sewing is an extra item hopefully you're doing since you enjoy it. But sure, there are those times where I just feel a little Maybe it's a little bit cloudy outside. Maybe I didn't sleep terribly well. Whatever, it happens. My best advice in those situations, just put that feeling, just put it aside. And don't give that much power to your feelings. They're just feelings. Instead, get yourself into motion by walking into your sewing space. Lean into that physical motion. Turning on your lamp, turning on your sewing machine, that iron. Now you are sewing just like that. Maybe you're sewing under a baby, in which case go check out this video where I outline some tangible pieces to make that process doable, because I feel you, mama, it is not simple. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. And as always, I appreciate y'all for watching and I hope to catch y'all next time.